So welcome. This is CareerForce and More for Employers, session 6. So glad to have everyone on the call. This CareerForce and More series is informational sessions intended to help you become more aware of CareerForce Indeed resources, help you navigate our CareerForce system a little bit better by introducing you to some of the key representatives for some of the different programs. We've given tips in the past on how to use MinnesotaWorks.net effectively, and we go over all of the online resources that are available on CareerForceMN.com. All of these recordings from this series are available on YouTube under the CareerForce MN page, under the CareerForce and More for Employers playlist. So over the past couple of weeks, we've been covering disability hiring, veterans employment, hiring, reaching new Americans, Minnesota Works. Today, we're talking about second chance hiring, the federal bonding program, work opportunity tax credit, and other programs to help you consider hiring people who've been involved with our justice system in the past. Next week, come back for a discussion on strategic workforce hiring initiatives, and then wrap up with labor market information and your top questions on June 22nd. So today, we're going to be talking about tailored resources. If you go to CareerForceMN.com, click on For Employers on the top, and then navigate to where it says tailored resources, you will see a list of different links that help people who've typically been underserved in our hiring systems throughout the United States. This is what it looks like if you go to that page. Like I said, you tap on For Employers, and then you'll get to this employers pull down menu. This is all under our commitment to workforce inclusion. We know that there are a lot of people who want to work, who have wonderful skills, who want to join in partnership with your business, who just maybe need a little bit more assistance in getting there. So that's the area that CareerForce Indeed really focuses on in our work to ensure workplace equity. So today I have Jeremiah Carter and Lena Bulk here to talk about some of these programs and how we help this section of job seekers. So I'm going to introduce to you Jeremiah Carter. Welcome.
Thank you, Liz, and thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you all today and give you a brief overview about the federal bonding program. And before we go into the next slide about what fidelity bonding is, I just wanted to give you an overview of how the program started. The Fidelity Bonding Program, a federal bonding program, was actually introduced by the Department of Labor in 1966. It was really designed to provide fidelity bonds to employers, giving them access to a different job market or a different pool of applicants and opening opportunities for individuals that were transitioning from various circumstances. So over the years, some of the applicable industries that the bonding has supported has been hospitality, retail, construction, the transportation industry, our automotive repair industry. Also, we've had really good success with the bonding program in our manufacturing. Some substantial gains have been made in the healthcare industry. A number of nonprofits use the bonding program as a tool when they're bringing in new employees. And then we have actually started new conversations with the banking industry and have had some really good inroads with our tourist tourism industry as well. So with the Fidelity Bonding Program or federal bonding program, we really use it as a tool to market individuals' backgrounds that can really pose a significant barrier to hiring. So some of the qualifications or some of the areas or eligibility for individuals under the bonding program include the justice-involved population, individuals recovering from substance use disorders, anyone that is receiving welfare, so any welfare recipient, an individual that may have a poor credit history that may, pose a significant barrier to employment, depending on the type of employment that they're going into. Our economically disadvantaged youth or adults who just simply lack work history, and also individuals dishonorably charged from our military or from military services. So if we can change the slide, I can talk about what fidelity bonding is. It is really, again, set up as a business insurance to protect employers against employee dishonesty. It really gives an employer that incentive to hire that individual that could be deemed as at risk, or you might not be able to hire under normal circumstances based on, blanket policies that an organization could have around background or credit or those other things. It really sets that insurance in place to mitigate or really to mitigate that risk of hiring that individual. It covers any type of loss due to theft, forgery, larceny, or embezzlement. It does not cover poor workmanship, and that has been some of the misconceptions about the bond. If a person doesn't show up for work, that bond will not cover the poor workmanship. It also does not cover job industry or job injuries, work accidents, and things of that nature. But if there was ever a loss for an employer, it will cover that loss that the employer incurs. These bonds are not for self-employment. So if an individual was starting their own business, they cannot bond themselves, but they can bond employees that they do hire. They're not contract bonds or license bonds or performance bonds as well. And then obviously they are not used for any legal proceedings. If we can go to the next slide. And, why companies should use the federal bonding program, for us as job developers and marketers and individuals that help with the second chance employment opportunities, it really has helped us to lessen our chances of sending out referrals for jobs. It has helped us to start new conversations, as I stated before. When I started, this has opened up conversations for me in the banking industry. I've had a number of conversations in the hospitality industry. So it has really been a unique tool for me to start those conversations and really reintroduce some very skilled individuals back into the workforce. For employers, what it is, it can definitely give you a broader range of talent. It can open up some different doors for you as you're looking for potential workforces, because you can actually draw from these pools of skilled individuals. Because when you think specifically about the justice involved population, many of these individuals are returning to the workforce after years of work in their during their incarceration and have some very significant skills. So it really opens up the number of opportunities that you can have to increase your workforces. And then, for effectiveness, it creates more taxpayers and again, fewer tax users. So if we have more individuals working and providing for their families, then we have less individuals that are using taxpayers' dollars for support. our impact and what we're trying to impact is really to reduce reincarceration on a state and federal level. As individuals are transitioning from our state facilities and federal facilities, we really want to make sure there's opportunities for these individuals. And studies really show that if individuals don't have opportunities or see career pathways, typically in those first 2 weeks of release, sometimes that criminal thinking can come back into play. But once they are given some productive activity and productive things to do, that can really lessen that risk for that reincarceration. With these bonding programs as well, as I stated before, when an individual is bonded, it reduces that risk of hiring an individual, gives you a chance to see them perform and know that there is no risk in this person on the job. Hopefully that will then lead to long-term job retention, which in turn leads to increased earnings for that individual. And ultimately, it just eliminates those employment barriers that individuals that have these significant barriers to employment face. If we can go to the next slide, please. How an employer applies for a bond. And before I get into that, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the level of coverage that's available. And I see that's the third bullet point on here. But bonds are issued for a 6-month period, and they're typically issued for in $5,000 increments. So a typical bond for, I'll use a warehouse employee, has been $5,000 for that 6-month period. But if an individual, let's say, was going into the banking industry, they had a very high level of security that they had to deal with. They had very sensitive data that they had to deal with. We can issue a bond for up to $25,000. So that is really dependent on the employer and really dependent on the level of responsibility that a person may have on the job. So when a person is interested, or when an employer is interested in setting up a bond, all they would have to do is call me. The employee has to have full or part-time employment with a set job date. We can't issue bonds before a person is employed. They can't walk in and say, hey, I have this bond in place. They do have to have that job offer set by the employer. Once that job offer is set, the employer can contact me. There is no paperwork to sign. There is a very short interview process that we provide to the employer, where we gain some basic information, and that is when the level of bonding comes into play. So really dependent on the level of work or the type of work that an individual would do, we can set that bond on a $5,000 increment all the way up to $25,000 for a 6-month period at no cost to the employee or the employer. After that 6-month period, we do follow up with each employer to make sure things are going well. Some employers actually choose to extend that bonding coverage, and we do offer the option to extend it for an additional 6 months at no cost to the employer still. So these bonds can really be issued for up to 1 year. And again, with the bonding service, it is a phone call, no paperwork to sign for either party. And then it is effective the day that I have that conversation with the employer. So if we go to the next slide. And also, I just wanted to talk about, as we are talking about second chance employment today, Deed received some additional grant funding to really expand the use of our fidelity bonding program, and it really focuses on the justice involved population, as well as individuals that are in recovery from the substance abuse disorder. So with the new grant funding, Deed has the ability to provide up to 850 bonds actually over a 4-year period. And again, you know, we have a significant focus on those that are justice involved and those that are dealing with substance use disorders as well. So just know that we are really trying to market this program to employers, especially employers that are looking to provide some fair chance hiring and really expand their workforce with individuals that may have the substance use disorder or may be criminally or justice involved. So we were awarded an additional $100,000 in 2021 to expand our grant programming. That programming or this expansion of the grant will last for approximately 4 years. So again, we have the added capacity to serve up to 850 individuals, and we hope, you know, some of you individuals on this call today may take interest in just having some conversations on how these bonds could actually benefit you and those that you work with. So if we can go to the next slide. So I have left my contact information here. If you want any additional information about the bonding program, again, my name is Jeremiah Carter. Phone numbers listed there, and then we do have a general inbox. I'll reply to all messages immediately. So federalbondingprogram.deed@state.mn.us. So with that, I will turn it over to my counterpart, Lena, who will talk about the work opportunity tax credit. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jeremiah. Good morning, everybody. I'm Lena Balk, and I am the Help Desk and Employer Services Manager here with CareerForce. I'm excited today to talk to you, to share some information with you on our Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program, and which goes by WOTC. You probably have maybe heard of it before, but it is a great program. It's a wonderful federal tax credit incentive for employers to encourage them to hire individuals who face difficult employment prospects. I know that Jeremiah was talking about the bonding program, which is a great opportunity to bring individuals on board that have barriers to employment. This is kind of goes along with this as well. However, this program does serve more than just individuals who are involved in the criminal justice process. So this is a little bit more expansive, right, to other targeted groups. So the intent of the program, again, is to help individuals obtain employment who have faced those barriers, significant barriers to employment in the past. There are identified targeted groups, and we'll go through those here in just a little bit. A few of them, right, but that they've had these obstacles, right, because of some of those following reasons, right? Lack of education, low skills. They could have a criminal record, a disability, right, on public assistance. So those are just some of a few of the different reasons why some of these groups may have had difficulty finding employment. WOTC has been certified, and it will be valid right now through December 31st of 2025. And I'm assuming that will continue to go on. It has been around for many, many years, and I believe will continue to be around for the foreseeable future. So individuals that qualify for those targeted groups, we have just a small listing here. If you go to our website, and we'll provide that here later in one of the slides, you'll see you can go to the website and get some more information on all of the targeted groups that qualify for the tax credit program. Here are just some of the few. So you can see here, right, individuals who are receiving various types of assistance, individuals with disabilities, veterans, individuals who have a felony on their record. We also, work with, or there is a tax credit for individuals who live in certain parts of the state, right? Certain empowerment zones or designated community resident in certain rural communities as well. So there are more than just what's listed right here. So if you get a chance, you can go to our website and learn more about those targeted groups, as well as get a little bit more information on what we're looking at when we identify a targeted group as well. So how can WOTC, the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, benefit an employer? Right there, you can see those tax savings. Depending on the targeted group, right, it can range from anywhere from $2,400 up to $9,600 for a new hire, which is great if you can get somebody up at that higher level, hiring somebody. I believe that's hiring a veteran with a disability. I'd have to double check that, but that is one of the different targeted groups. But we hope that utilizing this program can really increase an employer's bottom line and utilize those savings, to offset those hiring and training costs. So how much paperwork? Well, not a lot, right? There are just two forms that need to be completed, the IRS 8850 and the ETA 9061. Both of those forms are on the deed website, and they're one is one page, the other is 2 pages. There is going to be, and you'll probably see this on our website in the upcoming months, they are going to be updating these forms. So I just wanted to let you know about that as well. And so there'll be some minor changes to those forms in the near future, but we haven't received the final yet on that. But once we get that, we will be updating our website to make sure that we have the most current forms available. And you can submit those applications in a variety of ways. Probably the easiest way is to do it right on our online automated application system, which is right on the website. But employers can, if they choose to, they can also email those to us or put them in the mail. I think the most important thing that we want to make sure employers realize or know is that the applications must be submitted to the WOTC team within 28 calendar days of the new hire's job start date. That's extremely important. If there's anything you take away from this today, is to just always keep in mind that we need to receive those applications within those 28 calendar days. If they do come to us in the mail, we will look at when it was postmarked, but that is something that is an IRS guideline that there is no wiggle room on that. So if we get it on the 29th day, we're going to have to deny the application. So please make sure that if anything you take away today is that 28 calendar day deadline. Again, it is an IRS guideline, which we have no wiggle room in order to change. So, so just a couple of things to keep in mind with WOTC. The tax credit is available to any size business for any job. It covers permanent, temporary, or seasonal work, full-time or part-time status. There's no limit to the number of qualified new hires that you can put in, but there is no credit for hiring a former employee, relatives, dependents, independent contractors, or majority owners of the business. There is no limit on the amount of WOTC credits a business can claim in any taxable year. And the private sector employer does not lose a credit if it's not used. So they can carry back 1 year or carry forward up to 20 years as well. All right. And oh, did we skip a screen? Oh, nope, sorry. Go to the next one. So here are just some links to to some of the different things that we do have on our website. We have the WOTC online application portal, right, and other resources. We have a quick reference guide for employers as well, and something that the IRS put together in the last couple of years is a frequently asked question sheet. So just to give you some additional information, maybe some questions that you might have. Other employers, right, ask those same questions. They put together a nice FAQ sheet for employers to review. So, but if if you're still looking for some information and want some further guidance, our WOTC coordinator, Karen Marbury, is a great resource, and her contact information is right there. She's been with the state of Minnesota for 25 years, and she's worked with the WOTC program for the majority of that time. So she knows a thing or two about WOTC. So she's a great person to reach out to and get any questions that you have answered. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Lena and to Jeremiah for all of the work that you guys do. You know, in some ways, it seems like these are stealth programs. You know, they've been operated for a long time by the federal government and by the state government. And I know businesses know about them, but not everyone does. And it really can make the difference in hiring people that have been underserved, that really could make a difference. I always let Tom Maurice have a word in here because he's been doing a lot of work talking with all of you, our employer account holders in Minnesota Works. What are you hearing, Tom, and how are they using some of these resources?
Thanks, Liz. Yeah, I'll just take a quick minute here and mention to participants to this session this morning that both the tax credit and the bonding programs are excellent ways for employers to discover talent. When Liz and I are talking to employers, we're typically talking to employers about where's all this talent we hear about? Where are all these people interested in going to work? Well, those are great resources for discovering talent to build your labor force. So please take a look at both of these programs closely and see them as an opportunity to bridge the gap between talent and your needs. With that, I will turn it back to you, Liz, but I very much appreciate the information shared this morning, and hopefully as employers, you will take advantage and take us up on these opportunities as well.
Jeremiah, is there anything else that you want to add?
I just wanted to echo Tom's statement that this is really a good way to increase your workforce and actually find a very talented and skilled workforce if you're interested. So thank you for those kind words, Tom.
Thank you, everyone, for sitting through this presentation. I hope this is information that you can use. Contact CareerForce at state.mn.us anytime if you have questions about your MinnesotaWorks.net account, posting jobs, getting back in if you've been locked out, or about CareerForce MN, anything on our site. And if you are a care provider too, please engage with us with the Follow Your Heart to a Caring Career campaign that's taking place this summer. So take care, everyone, and see you next week. Thanks.